Alan Douglas, the state intercourse champ.
While our game is being temporarily held up, our well-known organist, who's located in the center field stands, is going to entertain you by diddling on his organ.
For the Philadelphia Warriors, in the first half, Wilt Chamberlain was high with 27 points.
The score at the half remained 6-6, but during the third quarter, the Crimson really came to life, scoring a touchdown on 8 successive plays. The turning point came when the coach sent in his aspect.
There have been many ball players who have been able to handle a bat from either the left or right side of the batter's box. But I think most sports writers will agree that Mickey Mantle is one of the greatest swish hitters of all times. In the National League, the Cubs edged out Milwaukee 2-1. The Cards were taken by the Dodgers 6-4. Behind the three-hit pitching of Don Newcomb. And hey, you pulled out my AC power. You in the brown suit I'm supposed to be on the air, you pulled out my plug. You pulled out my AC, you fat fool.
A slip of the tongue is a hazard of the trade. A slip of the eyes could be, and on one notorious occasion was a nightmare.
Bill Stern was a famous radio announcer. He had the magnificent radio voice, but he had a device. If he had the wrong man calling the ball on a 90-yard run, he'd say, "There goes Nagler. He's at the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30. He's across midfield." And at the 10-yard line, he'd have Nagler lateral the ball to Lee. Lee was the original ball carrier. Now in the 1947 Preakness, he was the color man at Pimlico, and there were two favorites in that race. One was Faultless, and the other was Jet Pilot.
With no TV, the first national picture of the race would be painted by the greatest of all racecasters, Clem McCarthy. Here's what millions heard.
Jim Milton's been starting these races soon. We've held their off, and they got away together, and Jet Pilot beat Phalanx away from the gate, and Cornish Knight on the inside is getting different riding tactics today, and the crowd blocked him for a moment, and when they come out of there, Jet Pilot is head and head with him, and on the outside, Phalanx, away up in the middle of the track. This is going to be an awful horse race down here, but on still there. Jet Pilot is coming at him like a game horse. Jet Pilot has got him. Jet Pilot the next. Jet Pilot a half a length. Jet Pilot by a length. Phalanx third, and in fourth place. What am I talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, I've made a terrific mistake. I mixed my horses, and I have given you the winner as Jet Pilot, and it is Faultless. Just at what point I was looking at Phalanx, and Jet Pilot disappeared on me, I don't know. The winner of the race is Faultless.
The horses were obscured by the overflow crowd at the turn for home. And that's where McCarthy missed the change of leaders.
He had made a terrible mistake. And Bill Stern, who was doing the color, then proceeded for 5 full minutes to say it wasn't a terrible thing happened to Clem. He called the wrong horse, but he's really a fine man, and he's a good radio man. Oh, my God, poor Clem, and he did this. And now the broadcast is over, and Clem fixed Stern with a cold stare and said, "Bill, it's too bad you can't lateral a horse."
All right, we missed. We struck out. Well, Babe Ruth struck out once, so I might just as well get in famous company.
2 decades later, a whole TV network, NBC, had a nightmare when it broadcast all but the most important part of a big football game.
I was sitting in the mobile unit outside of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, and we were getting ready to televise a game between the New York Jets and the Oakland Raiders. And at that time, those were two very popular teams in the American Football League. And as we get down near the end of the game, it was a close game and score. And that's when it all began to happen. The network had scheduled Heidi, a movie for children, to start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Going in about the last 5 minutes of the game, the score changed hands quite often, and it became a tie game. Around 6:45, when the game looked like it might run into 7 o'clock, the sports executives started calling one another. They decided that if the game did run into 7 o'clock, that they would keep the game on and slide Heidi. In other words, start Heidi after the football game.
Meanwhile, viewers nationwide were very curious to know if they would see the end of the game.
People started calling the New York switchboard. And on Sunday, they don't have it manned very heavily. They probably have one or two operators. And the phones, there were so many phone calls, they blew a fuse in the system.
As a result, the execs couldn't get through to network control to give the order to keep the football game on. The Jets led the Raiders by a field goal when most of the nation saw this on their screens. While the switchboard in New York lit up, the Raiders lit up the scoreboard in Oakland, scoring 2 touchdowns in the last minute. There was a national furor over the blunder, and NBC issued a directive that henceforth all games would be aired to their conclusion.
Being the producer of the now quote unquote Heidi game, I began to get a lot of things in the mail, like little Heidi dolls and also cards, and of course I got some others, a lot of Heidi books. So I got to become very familiar with Heidi following that experience.
Now you may ask, what has this got to do with sports? Well, a lot of people ask that question.
Oh, Kitty.
Well, hello.
Oh, Elle McPherson.
Didn't I just see you?
98% naked?
I don't know if I'd have phrased it like that.
Listen, that's what it says in this letter here. Yeah. I did not order Sports Illustrated expecting to see women who are 98% naked. Please cancel my subscription.
Believe it or not, every year these innocent young ladies are the cause of more controversy than any other story in SI.
Here, you read one.
All right, my pleasure. Or is it? Dear SI, I was disgusted by your swimsuit disgrace. I tore the issue into shreds and tossed it into the fire with the devil and his imps.
And here we have another one. Dear S.I., who are you trying to kid? Your readers can see right through the swimsuit coverage.
Revealing.
Dear S.I., shame on you and shame on Cheryl Teagues.
But then there's this friendly note from the frigid north.
What you're about to find out.
Dear S.I., since your swimsuit issue arrived here, the sleet has stopped and even the ground is beginning to thaw. In some places.
If my son gets to be 13 years old and doesn't look at these pictures, I'll take him to a psychologist. If my husband stops looking at them, I'll know he's dead.
I'll know he's dead, too. That's my kind of controversy, but it's nothing compared to some of these.
Mr. Official, let me ask you something. How can 6 of you miss a play like that, huh? All 6 of you. The ball jumped out of there as soon as we made contact, and nobody...
I thought you were talking about you being on the field.
No. What?
Hey, pick up! Pick up! Pick up! Pick up! Pick up right there! Pick up! You picked him up!
Oh, he pulled his arm! Oh, he pulled his arm! He pulled him!
Do you see the offensive tackle? He literally tackled the strong safety. He tackled him, for crying out loud. Open your eyes! I can't believe that.
First down by 2 feet. 2 feet. He's got it easy. He's got it easy. I can't see. Oh, the thing is way over here. He's got it by 2 feet.
Oh, there's a clip! Damn, there's a clip! What the hell's wrong with you?
Oh, that is a crock.
They're killing me, Whitey. They're killing me.
Oakland trails 20-14. 10 seconds left.
Every once in a while, someone stumbles through a loophole in the rules. The Oakland Raiders caused a minor controversy against the San Diego Chargers on the last play of the game, when a forward fumble produced a game-winning touchdown.
Flip forward is loose. A wild scramble. 2 seconds on the clock. Casper grabbing the ball. It is ruled a fumble. Casper has recovered in the end zone. The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here. He does.
The NFL changed the rules, but it didn't help the Chargers much that Sunday.
This one will be relived forever.
Now here's a controversy that never happened, but probably should have. Tommy Underwood of the Yankees is pitching to Jose Morales of the Twins. The count goes to 3-2, and then, check this, 4-2. Apparently the umpire, the